Curiosity is probably the best way to teach just about anything. Get some students interested in something, there's nothing that'll stop them from learning. Here's a clip from the movie Austin Powers where they introduce the character Mini-Me. Here are the stats on Mini-Me and some actual information from both actors, Mike Myers, who plays Dr. Evil, and Vern Troyer, who plays Mini-Me. In the movie, as you can tell from this clip, they call him Mini-Me, and they claim that he is 1/8 his size. So in this lesson, students are going to look at that information along with the actual factual statistics, do some calculations, ask some questions, figure out, is it really 1/8 actual size or is it something else? The counterintuitive part of this lesson is that if we look at two-dimensional information or one-dimensional, if we look at one dimension at a time, 1/8 in height, 1/8 in width, and or half the size or half the width, which is what it turns out to be, about pretty close. So if you're doing two-dimensional things like changing the size of Dr. Evil's throne, which is part of the lesson here and shows you how to make those adjustments, when you start considering the little bit more complex idea of 3 dimensions, if Vern Troyer is in fact half his height, half his width, and half his depth in an actual 3-dimensional model, what would that mean about the total volume of one character to the other? And if you consider, if it turns out to be a half, and a half, 1/2 by 1/2 by 1/2 does in fact give me 1/8. So the idea here is to get the students to think about where this lesson is going. How is this lesson going to progress towards seeing the idea of each one of the dimensions being a multiple, and coming up with a better way of writing that final line, which is, he's exactly like you except 1/8 your size. And by size, we could change that word to volume or your total size. Probably volume would be the better of the descriptors. So this is just one example of one of the lessons that's in the lesson library. Here's a second one. We will look at Mini-Me Part 2 if you've got students who are ready to progress into a little bit more introduction to trigonometry. Lesson number 2 deals with the exact same situation, except you'll notice that the character Vern Troyer plays walks through a small doorway there, which had originally cast a shadow. It sets up this similarity right here, and then that similarity will lead them to try to calculate what this angle for the light source needs to be in order to cast this shadow that is the height of the original character, Mike Myers. So have fun.